Yeah, there's Blues Brothers. There's Midnight Run. Trying to Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Pop in the Culture, your weekly entertainment check-in. I'm your host with the most, Mojo, of course. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Another fantastic show coming your way. I'll be speaking with the director and stars of the Prime Video movie, Don't Make Me Go. Plus, she's an influencer who appears in the Netflix series Boo Bitch. That's right, Jami Alix will be joining me. Don't want to miss those chats. But first, let's jump into things with your Hollywood headlines. All right, and here to help me break it all down is my man, Cassius Morris. Hello, Cassius. How's it going?
Matt Demers, what's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to have you here to help me break down a lot of these news stories. We're starting with the one that might have a lot of fanboys and fangirls with their jaw on the floor because a report has come out from Rolling Stone saying that the Snyder Cut, that's right, Zack Snyder's redo of the Justice League, the one that landed on HBO Max, was a big success. I enjoyed it myself. Well, the fan campaign to get it there apparently was bolstered by inauthentic users, bots, fake accounts. Say it ain't so.
So how many people actually were reported to be supporting this? Because I mean, I figured it was a lot.
Yeah, no, there was a lot. I mean, that's what got it made in the first place. It was huge. It was trending. There were billboards. Release of Snyder Cut was a big deal. The report was done by Warner Media. Now they wanted to look at a lot of the online chatter, a lot of negative stuff, even stuff to do with their security. So what they found was upwards of 13% in that campaign were not authentic, which doesn't seem like a lot, but 13% of that total. Plus, as we learned from Elon Musk, a lot of Twitter users aren't even real. So disproportionate amount of numbers of what was coming out. Now, what would be interesting to me is whether or not Zack Snyder knew about this, knew that a lot of it wasn't, because then it would be him being inauthentic to his fans and deceiving us. But I don't think so.
That's a good point. Yeah, I highly doubt he would know about it. I mean, it would be a bit of a stretch to think that. But then again, I'm sure he doesn't feel too good about it now, Matt, because, I mean, he probably felt like, hey, here's all these people showing all this love for me. They want to see my cuts. And now we find out a lot of it isn't real. So I wonder how he feels about it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that was my next question. Does this hurt the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because I, by the way, really dug it. If for those that don't know the backstory, he was originally working on that film. Personal tragedy took him away from it, and Warner brought in Joss Whedon, and that what went out in theaters, the Justice League movie, was vastly different from what Zack Snyder had in mind. Hence the campaign to bring it back. But I really enjoyed what Snyder put out. But does this hurt that final product? Because in my opinion, I don't think so. I think his fans speak for themselves, but what do you think? Does it put a cloud over that?
I think it slightly takes focus away. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's going to be hard for me not to be thinking of this little scandal if I do sit down and watch it, which now I probably will. I mean, I definitely saw, I think, previews for the original version or the version that ended up being the main version. But no, I think it'll have a bit of the spotlight taken off. But again, if you can get through something like, like when The Crow came out with all that craziness and, The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, if we can get past a cloud like that over a movie, I think we can definitely get past this. I don't know. Do you agree?
I do agree. The end result is what matters most. And the end result, what Snyder put out, was fantastic. What I think this will hurt, though, going forward, Cassius, and I'll get you to chime in too, is future fan campaigns, right? Because whenever a show kind of gets canceled or a movie franchise kind of stalls, there's always that push to get it made and through these fan campaigns. The Snyder Cut was one that I never thought would actually happen, but they had enough supporters, authentic or inauthentic, to get it made. But I think the future, when we see these fan campaigns, people might be like, oh, it's just fake. They're just fake users now. What do you think?
Well, that's a big thing. It's I think the bigger question is, how does this affect future campaigns? And also, are we going to have people going back at older campaigns? I mean, there's been so many similar things like this. And like you said, most of them don't get made, but the ones that do, I think it's going to be very important to see, how much of it is authentic and legitimate. Like you mentioned with Elon Musk as well, taking over Twitter. This is sort of commentary about a much bigger issue on Twitter and across the web as well. So I think it's really important that if we're seeing movements, that these movements are real. I think it's very important that we authenticate them.
Yeah. So online, you never know. It might not be what you think it is.
That's right.
Moving on to another polarizing figure right now. That
we
being
love a polarizing story.
Will Smith, right? I don't know how many months it's been since the Oscar slap, but Will Smith's career has stalled. Usually he is out there, especially during the summer. He is Mr. Blockbuster during the summertime. No Will Smith movies. They've all been put on hold. A pin has been put on many of them, and some even canceled outright because, of course, well, he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars.
He slapped his way out of the business.
Not so fast, Cassius, because his co-star in the Bad Boys movies, Martin Lawrence, is saying, yeah, we've got another Bad Boys in us. There's going to be another Bad Boys movie. The last one, what was it? Bad Boys for Life, which I really dug, was a success. So now Martin Lawrence is saying, yeah, me and Big Willie, we're going to do another one. What do you think? I'm down for another Bad Boys.
I mean, look, I'm always down for another Bad Boys. I think we can just put that out there right away. I mean, probably one of the more fun, we always love a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, right, Matt? I mean, this is just a legendary Hallmark sort of series when it comes to movies, trademark. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sure. Is it too early for Will Smith to come back? Because I think it's been just about 2 months. He's been banned is he still banned from the Oscars?
He's still banned, yeah. But I don't think this Bad Boys will be nominated for anything.
Right. Well, I guess that's true too. We were in no danger of that, I don't think either.
But he is banned. Yeah, he's banned. He hasn't said anything. Jada said a little something on her Red Table Talk. He's keeping a low profile. I think you're right. I think it is a little too soon. I don't think production has started on this, but
right. But he's saying he'd be open to doing another one, basically, if they got the green light. Is that kind of what Martin's saying? Martin's
saying they got another one to go. Basically saying, yeah, we're doing another one. So I think Will Smith fans were happy about that. But I think a lot of people are still questioning why did he slap Chris Rock at the Oscars? Well,
I wonder what Martin Lawrence thinks of the actual slap. I don't know if he's talked about that or if anybody else has weighed in.
Here's who has weighed in: Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock, obviously still very close to Chris. He went on a podcast. This is interesting, actually. The podcast was Top Billin' with Bill Bellamy, and he mentioned that his take on this whole thing is that he thinks Will Smith was tired of feeling emasculated by Jada because of all her love that she's put out there for Tupac Shakur. And then at the Oscars, it was just kind of like, I gotta stand up for myself. I can't be seen as soft anymore. That was Tony's take. What do you think on that? You're a music guy. What do you think? Because Tupac and Jada had a bit of a history.
Definitely. I mean, they were what they call close friends, like very close best friends. But I mean, a lot of people would, equate that to love. And it seems like there was love there on some level, right? She said she loves him at least as a person.
She posts about him like on the anniversary of his death, birthday, any chance she gets. I see a Jada Pinkett tribute post. So I think Will Smith has gone on interviews. You can find him saying like, yeah, I was jealous of Jada's love for Tupac. So maybe that did have a lot to do with it.
I definitely think it could, especially when, it's hard to be jealous of somebody when you're at the level of Will Smith. Let's be honest. I mean, this guy's face was plastered all over Hollywood.
Yeah.
Walking around with wife, and he was still feeling a little bit, emasculated by Tupac. And you got to think Tupac is probably not the kind of guy you want to go up against in any challenge. I mean, such a massive personality, larger than life, even when he was alive. He's not the guy I would want to go up against, especially when, for a title or a woman, whatever the case may be. Sign me out of that one, Matt.
Me too. I'm right there with you. It'll be interesting. I'm still waiting for the inevitable Oprah sit down Oprah in the middle,
Ooh.
Chris Rock, Will Smith.
That's how he's going to have to redeem himself, right? And then she could bring them together. It writes itself. Maybe on Red Table Talk, even.
There you go. Oh yeah, take Oprah out and put Jada in. I'd watch that.
Boy.
I would
Break
watch
the
that.
internet.
I'd watch the heck out of that. All right, let's finish off with a little bit of fun because I'm a wrestling fan, Cassius, and I don't know if you've heard of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Of course,
you must have. Woo!
That's right.
73 years old, 73.
Wow.
The Nature Boy has been styling. He's been profiling in the world of professional wrestling for a very long time. We almost lost him a few years back. Remember, he had a very bad health scare. He's got a pacemaker now. He's on blood thinner medication, but still doing his thing. And guess what? That's not stopping him from having one last match. Ric Flair.
One last time, hey?
Stepping through the ropes. One more time. Say it ain't so, Rick. Got to be careful. He's saying that he's been training for this. He wants this. This will be going down at StarCast. And the big question was, well, who's Rick going to face? Who's going to take him on? Well, this makes sense. It's actually going to be a tag team match, right?
Okay.
So he's going to have a little help here. So it's going to be Ric Flair teaming up with his son-in-law. Charlotte Flair's husband, Andrade, who is a big name in the world of professional wrestling, taking on Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal. For those that know, Jay Lethal does this epic Ric Flair impersonation, but he also helped Rick later in life get his mojo back, if I can use that
no
term.
kidding.
Yeah. What do you think? Are you worried for Rick? I'm a little worried.
Well,
I want to see it, but I'm a little worried about. He said he's not going to take his medication the day of the fight because I'm blood thinners.
I don't know why he wouldn't do, because he wants to maybe be natural that day, or.
Well, when you're taking blood thinners, it's very dangerous to get hit.
Right.
I mean, even with a pacemaker, but
yeah. And I mean, just his age in general, I mean, knowing the lifestyle he's lived, I mean, you know, the guy has lived a really hard and rough life. You know, so I am a little worried about that. Like, I definitely saw some of the videos of him training and stuff, and some of those hits when he hit the mat, like, I was like, oh, he's probably going to feel that in the morning. You know, one thing about wrestling, people say it's fake. Okay. It's choreographed, but you're still feeling those hits. When you're hitting the mat like that, you're flying from those types of heights, guys. You're going to feel it. So, I mean, it's, you know, I commend him for doing it. And the fact that, you know, I learned his son-in-law is involved, is people who've sort of in the family, the Flair family, who've helped him, like you say, get his mojo back, pun intended. You know, I think it's a nice thing to see. And if it can make him happy, if it can give him purpose at this age of 73 in his life, and he can do it without getting seriously hurt, I say, woo, you know, let's go.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do this, Rick. I think I'm going to check it out. And I think it's great. A final hurrah for one of the best to ever do it. Hey, Cassius, this has been so much fun. Thanks for helping me break all this down today.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Cassius, do me a favor, though. Don't go anywhere, because me and you, we got to take a trip beyond the list. All right, Cassius, here's what we do. We dig deep in the vast archives of Watch Mojo. We pluck out a top 10 list. We go beyond the list. What does it mean? Well, it means me and you get to have a little bit of fun. We get to talk a little bit more about the scenarios. Do we know about them? Do we not know about them? Do we agree? Do we disagree? Today's going to be interesting because we're doing top 10 times artists went overboard. So when we talk about artists, it's artists of all kinds. Could be an actor, could be a musician, could be a literal performance artist of some sort. This is interesting because you always, I don't want to get into what I think will be on here, but I have a few ideas, especially in the acting world, where actors push things.
I have some good ideas too, and I almost wonder how they're going to fit everything on the top 10. So, I mean, I guess we're just going to have to dig in and find out.
Let's dig in. Let's find out. There are some honorable mentions, so maybe some of the stuff will land its way there if it doesn't make it in the official top 10. Number 10 is something that I did hear about. It's not for the weak of heart. Rhythm Zero by Marina Abramovic.
Okay.
She was an artist, if you will, doing a performance bit where she had basically her exhibit was that she would just be lifeless. She would just lay still, have a lifeless body, do nothing, never move once, and they would let the public do whatever they wanted to her body. And they were given objects. They were given something like, here it is. Watch Mojo says 72 objects that people could
72.
use. 72. They could do whatever they wanted to her body. And let me tell you, They did. Some people, and I won't get into too much graphic detail, but some people decided to cut her. And
Wow.
again, she was lifeless. She did not move. It was uncomfortable. Yeah, it was going to, I don't know, it was going to show like humanity as a whole and what we're capable of. And I don't know. What do you think about
Definitely,
this?
I think that this says more about her than it maybe even says about the people. I mean, to want to put yourself in this situation is very. There's got to be a lot going on there, Matt, and I think it is a fascinating thing. I don't know if this would fly today though.
Oh no, I don't think so either. Yeah, it took place in 1974, so quite a while. We haven't seen the likes of it since. It's probably a good reason why. So,
At least somebody's done it, so we don't need to do it again. We know the results at least.
things got dark real quick. All right, number 9. This is the one that I had in mind. Actually, this is Christian Bale, and this is his insane weight loss for a movie called The Machinist.
I cringe just thinking about this.
You've seen the image, right? Where he's like, I don't think he's sucking in. I think he's just looking like that. It's just, he's literally ribs. He's literally ribs and bone. And he's walking around almost as a fish. It is so uncomfortable to look at. And he went there dropping 62 pounds.
Ugh,
What?
that is terrifying. I mean, first of all, I was just talking about this the other day when I saw a trailer pop up for Vice on Netflix. And I was, telling my friends, I was like, that's not a costume, guys. I'm like, that's actually what he did. And not only that, I'm pretty sure he did Vice and Batman sort of right after The Machinist. And I mean, I don't know, Matt, this one's tough for me because I'm not sure. Like you can't tell someone what.
Do you respect this, or is it just like, are you crazy?
I do respect it, but I don't think it should be allowed. If I was the director, I would not allow my actor to do this because the reality is he's lucky to be alive. When you're getting yourself to that level, it is dangerous. What do you think? Is it too far, or is he just the legend Christian Bale?
I think if anyone can get away with it, it is Christian Bale. And you're right about Vice, where he gained all that weight. And then Batman, he got like super buff in shape, which I guess that's kind of good for you. But then if you look at him in other movies too, he's always transforming himself. But you hear stories now too, where Tom Hanks said that after Castaway, it did damage to his body, losing all that weight for those scenes where he was stranded. So remember 50 Cent did it at one point. Remember?
Oh yeah. See that type of stuff is crazy, and like doing it once, even that is bad. But it has been speculated that actors who do this may live shorter lives. And
yeah.
I think that's a sad thing if that's true.
It is very sad. Yeah. So that's why this list is they took things too far.
Some shocking stuff.
They went overboard. So I don't think people would let him do that extreme again. At least I hope not.
I hope not.
Number 8 is Richie Blackmore at California Jam. I had to look this up. So Richie Blackmore, he's a guitarist for Deep Purple. And he, during this live concerts at California Jam, he just went insane with his guitar.
He lost it.
He decided to get all his aggression out with his guitar, just destroying a bazillion things. I watched the clips. I was like, what happened here?
This was a legendary event. And, this was the California Jam in this year was the first time that Deep Purple ever came to America. It was the first time Black Sabbath ever set foot on American soil. So this was one of the most legendary sort of pillars of the British invasion that we had in that time. And these guys, are wide-eyed 18 to 20-year-old kids being flown on a private jet to the land of, the free, the home of the brave America at the time, who, they heard all this stuff. So yeah, they didn't know how to act, Matt, in most of these cases. And this was probably, next to Woodstock, one of the craziest weekends in rock history.
Are you talking the 90s Woodstock?
Or I would say definitely. I would say the 70s were crazy, but yeah, I don't think we can top Woodstock 99. That goes from crazy to disaster.
Ooh, that one did. All right, number 7 on this list is the Chris Burden's Shoot. So here's another one of those artistic pieces that
Yoko
you're thinking
Ono style kind
of like, what are we doing? So in 1971, he decided he wanted to get shot in the shoulder with a rifle. Because he wanted to speak out against.
Don't they have treatment for that? No.
He wanted to speak out against the destructive events like Vietnam. It was all very subversive, and life and art, and I want to show the pain, and I don't know.
It didn't work out for him the way he planned it.
No. And luckily, the art of shooting is not a thing anymore. As far as art goes, I don't think this is not a very popular stunt, and that would totally not fly today.
Well, I'm curious what he exactly, hoped to accomplish. I mean, I understand he's trying to raise awareness, but maybe people were holding signs in the street that seemed to be working just fine.
Yeah, I know. He wanted to go a little further, a little too far.
Well, I guess he's on the list for a reason. It is called People Who Went Too Far.
We used to ask ourselves, Cassius, what would Leonardo DiCaprio need to do to win an Oscar? Well, it turns out he needed to be mauled by a bear and eat a real liver, because that's number 6 on this list. The Revenant, that's the role that got him the Oscar after all those years. But yeah, he really did eat. Have you seen that movie? It's very
I've seen the
raw.
Majority of it, and I think method is a good way to put it, because when you're that miserable, you're sleeping in a real carcass. I don't think there's that much acting involved. You're probably really that disgusted and sick.
No, it is. It's an intense, insane viewing, and DiCaprio goes for it, and he's mauled by a bear at the very beginning. And there are even rumors saying that the bear tried to take advantage of him, if you know what I'm saying.
I believe it. And people, by the way, who may not realize, Leonardo DiCaprio was vegan.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. Of course.
So this is why, like, people say, oh, people eat liver all the time. Meat eaters barely even eat liver. Imagine being a vegan and sleeping in a dead deer carcass. I mean, this is a crazy. He does deserve to be on this list, but too far. I don't know if it was too far. I think method acting like this, I think, is called for, because he's not really hurting anyone or hurting himself too bad.
For the movie, he probably saw the script and was like, all right, if I don't win an Oscar for this, then I
better come with the sign up, an Oscar included.
But no, that was intense stuff. The Revenant. It's one of those movies that's great, but you can only watch it once. I think I would never revisit it.
Scarring.
But absolutely. That landed at number 6. Let's see what we else got on here. Number 5 is the reincarnation of Orlan. And this is in the early 90s, where an artist, Orlan, I'm not sure what the pronunciation, but regardless, she was getting plastic surgeries to make herself look like famous women, and she had upwards of 9. So she would get one to look like the Mona Lisa or whatever it was. I mean, you can't go back once you have these surgeries. It's like, that's permanent stuff. I don't know.
It's not for the faint of heart, apparently. And I mean, I can't imagine that the early 90s was exactly the golden era for plastic surgery either. I mean, I think we've definitely come a lot farther. So I could imagine that maybe she didn't look all that good.
She was trying to confront the concept of cosmetic surgery, femininity in this art project. But again, it's taking things a little too far when you can't. It's one thing you can get like prosthetics done, or makeup. You can do so many things with makeup now.
That's the thing. She probably could have done it and maybe done it for a one-time thing, let people come in and look at her and raise awareness that way. But I feel like most of the time when people are messing with their bodies in this level to raise awareness, I feel like it mostly just goes over people's head. Like I'm usually, if I see somebody like that, I'm not thinking it's for a cause. Usually I'm not even thinking much. So
yeah, no, it's intense stuff. So I don't know. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. There's a movie out called The Crimes of the Future, which kind of ties into this, and I do want to recommend it because it's from David Cronenberg, and it does deal with the idea of surgery being an art in the future. It's really interesting stuff. I don't want to give too much away because there are some interesting concepts, but that reminded me of that particular artist.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, no, definitely do. Number 4 on this list is Jim Carrey going into his role as Andy Kaufman in the movie Man on the Moon. There was a Netflix documentary that took us behind the scenes that showed us exactly how method Jim got in the character. And man, he really did live as Andy Kaufman, 24/7. And he made a lot of people's lives hell on set. But Kaufman was an enigmatic character. I don't know. Jim's one of those guys. And I think if anyone was going to do that role and go method and really pull it off, Jim Carrey was the man for the job. I don't know. What do you think of Jim Carrey in this particular role as Andy Kaufman?
I think he's phenomenal. Jim Carrey, probably one of the most, he's seen all the heights of it. And I think he's handled it in probably the best way possible when compared to most celebrities. He tries to stay as humble as he can. He seems like a fairly legitimate guy. And in terms of his talent and skill, that's undebatable. So, I mean, I think he's great, but I could definitely see this for him, for sure. I think when he decides to go into that mode, he could probably, go all the way with it. And it almost makes me think of like a filming environment like Jackass, for example, where it's like, even when the cameras are off, people can't relax even behind the scenes because something's constantly going to happen. That's what this sounds like to me.
It definitely was. It definitely was. I do recommend that Netflix doc too, because it really shines a light on exactly how far he took it. I think that was really the one and only time Jim went there. So he's capable of going insanely method, but
yeah,
I think the end result worked, but did he need to go that far? I don't know.
Probably not, but I mean, hopefully it gave us the performance for a reason.
Absolutely. Number 3 is Axl Rose versus St. Louis.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You ever want to see
wrestling?
Yeah. Well, here you go. It turned into almost a WWE event. So what happened? There was a guy in the audience with a camera, and
which I guess in 91 would be a lot more noticeable. I would imagine it was a lot larger. So yeah, I mean, guy in the audience with the camera, and Axl Rose tried to get security to take it. They wouldn't take it. And Axl basically did a frontwards dive into the audience and beat this guy up.
Yeah, and apparently it turned into a bit of a riot.
It did. Yeah, actually. Now Axl Rose actually faced charges in St. Louis after this. They tore the amphitheater apart, as Watch Mojo is saying here. And I mean, look, this isn't the first or last time that Axl Rose caused a fight. One time he saw a guy in the audience with a Slash t-shirt after Slash was out of the band. He had security rip the shirt off of him and kick the guy out. And I mean, the list goes on and on.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen Guns N' Roses, Matt, or if you're a fan, but one of the craziest bands, obviously.
Yeah, no, I would love to go see it. I remember they came, I was a little too young when they came to my town. But then the next day there was headlines saying that he was upwards of like 2 hours late for his performance.
Oh, the Montreal show with Metallica.
Yeah. So he like literally kept everyone waiting. I wanted to go see it. But I don't know. I don't know if he's still like that. I don't know if he changed too much.
I think he shows up on time, but I mean, now it's a little different. Now I think they can probably appreciate, the amount of money they're getting for reuniting now. So he's going to be on time. But yeah, I mean, back then, the danger, the I don't care attitude, it was really alive back then. They want you to wait 2-3 hours. You're going to wait, and then they might come on and do one song and say F you. So it was like a gamble. When they had a good show, it was one of the best, but the rest, not that good.
Absolutely. Number 2, David Blaine. Oh man, he's a magician who does all these stunts. I don't know if I really get it too much, but he does. He did this one where he's kind of frozen. He's going to freeze himself, frozen in time, freezing temperatures, and he had to be saved because he was going to, I don't know. The ultimate goal, he wanted to do 72 hours frozen.
See, that's ridiculous. And I guess he did over 60 hours. So, I mean,
he did, yeah.
The fact that, look, when I was a kid, Matt, I was a magic kid. I was a kid with a deck of cards.
But how is this magic? That's not magic. Freezing yourself.
Well, that's the thing. I think a guy like Chris Angel even is more of a magician than David Blaine, because where's the trick? You're just attempting to freeze yourself to death.
And it didn't work. You wanted to do it for 72 hours, and we were like, no, you're going to die. And they were like, yeah, we got to take him out. He's going to die. I don't know. He's done a lot of stuff. People swear by David Blaine, but he's fantastic. Listen, he's done some insane stuff. I don't know if I see it as magic as much as it is just insanity.
He's sort of a modern day mystic. He's more of a strange man, like a circus act rather than a magician. But I mean, I think that some of the cool stuff he does, like floating on balloons or all this holding his breath, it is pretty remarkable.
It is that frozen one a little too far,
a little crazy.
He should have knocked the time down, his goal time down a little bit.
Even an hour will do, man. I can't even do 10 minutes
exactly. Come on. 72 hours. All right, here we go with some honorable mentions. Keith Moon blows up his drum.
Oh wow. So this was a classic one, and actually when he did this, he blew out Roger Daltrey's right ear. So for the singer of the Who. So he actually gave some permanent health damage to his bandmate from this.
He put gunpowder in his drum and like literally blew it. Wow. Okay.
As a protest for having to lip sync on live TV, actually. They said, if we're going to have to lip sync, we're blowing this place up. And it did literally backfire on them.
Whoa. Yeah. Jared Leto as the Joker. There was a lot to be said about what Jared Leto was doing behind the scenes of the Suicide Squad, where he performed as the Joker, where he was a little too method and sending his cast members some not safe for work gifts. So that, yeah, Leto likes to go there apparently. Sophia Ursita, she urinated on a fan.
Oh, this was recently. Yeah,
the
this
brass
was a
against
very
singer.
strange situation.
Okay, so the brass against, so that would be what she's in. She relieved herself on stage while standing over a festival goer. What?
I have no idea how this happened. That's the number one question I have. How did this guy end up laying down on the stage with this happening? I believe she almost faced charges as well, because obviously this isn't legal. So yeah, but definitely, yeah, she maybe should have got number one, honestly.
I heard of Marilyn Manson doing similar things to his audience.
Yes.
And sometimes even worse.
Yeah, he's done all types of crazy stuff. But I mean, that comes with the sign-up package for Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, this was at a can you imagine being at that festival?
I'd prefer not to.
Robert De Niro grinds his teeth down. This I didn't know. So De Niro played an ex-con Max Caddy in the film, and he took a grinder and he had his teeth grinded down for real. Wow. For the role.
For life.
Yeah. So people will lose weight, they'll gain weight. Some people will change their hair and do all kinds of. He actually like grinded his teeth down for the role. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is a new level of commitment, I gotta say.
I never heard of that before.
Reason he's number one.
And Jubal Brown paints with vomit. Oh, okay. There's an artist that decided to spit up colors to fill a canvas.
I mean, is that really necessary, Matt?
No, not necessary at all. Can you imagine
buying
she
could probably get a similar color with regular paint.
Imagine buying one of those, putting it on your wall.
Yeah.
You have guests come over. What is this? Oh, well,
don't ask.
That was her lunch and that was her afternoon snack. All right. Number one, an artist that took things way too far.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see this being number one. Is Tom Cruise. Is Tom Cruise going all out for his stunts?
His whole career, right? He took it too far.
He has no boundaries when it comes to doing his own stunts. He wants to go further and further every time. His next movie is actually going to be in space. The next one he's filming, where he's going to do stunts in space. He's run out of things to jump off on Earth.
Is he actually going to be in space?
Yes, that he's training. Wow. He's training to go to space. That's exactly what he's doing next. So, I mean, I don't know. Tom Cruise, he clearly doesn't need to do this, Cassius. There's stuntmen. No.
I just watched one of his movies the other day, The Edge of Tomorrow. It was the first time I saw that. And I was like, you know what? This is so cool. And, you know, one of the best things about Tom Cruise is he does the stunts so well. And he's more of a physical actor, you know, like he doesn't say all that much, especially in that movie. But like just one look from Tom Cruise, you can get all this emotion from him. So I think that the physical stunts is good because he's more of a visual and physical actor, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's no question they puts out fantastic movies. So as long as he stays safe, because he's not getting any younger, Tom, but he is the output is fantastic. But he does take things especially with Mission Impossible. It's like hanging off helicopters.
Is that where he hung off a plane too? Because I saw that one.
Yeah, and then he smashed his ankle up in one of them. Remember? But no, that's not going to slow him down. He's just going to do more.
Incredible.
Cassius, this has been fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for chatting with me about all these artists that took things a little too far.
Always a pleasure, my friend. It's great to be on the show.
All right, well, everybody, hang tight because it's now time for our Mojo chats of the week. All right, the movie is Don't Make Me Go. It's coming to Prime Video, and who better to tell me all about it than the director? Hey, Hannah, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Okay, let's talk about this movie. I'm going to start with the hard question. How many? What's the cry count? How many times are we going to cry in this movie?
I guess it depends on who you are, but I think my parents probably cry about 2 or 3 times per viewing.
Right?
But hopefully people laugh too.
That, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because it is. It's got a lot of humor. It's a fun movie at times, but it also gets you as they say, right in the feels. As a director, what drew you to the story? It's really interesting stuff. But what was it, the connection to you?
I loved that it was a father-daughter story. There's not a ton of them actually, which is so bizarre to me. It's a very important relationship in so many people's lives, and it's completely universal in its themes, but yet we don't get to see it all the time. And I mean, I'm honored to have gotten to help bring it to life. I think John Cho and Mia Isaac really made it special, and were great collaborators, and it was just a wonderful experience.
Talk to me about that experience on set, so behind the cameras, because I felt like the dynamic between those two actors was fantastic. What was the set life like? I mean, take us behind the scenes.
It was incredibly challenging and weird because we were in New Zealand. We were in Auckland, New Zealand, filming this American road trip movie. It was supposed to take place in the summer. We were there in their winter. But that being said, those challenges made it all the more beautiful. It was such a fantastic experience getting to know the local cast and crew, and everyone really came together to try to make it as believably American as possible. So that was a lot of the experience, and it opened so many doors to new character explorations. For example, the Wagoneer, the car that Max drives, originally was supposed to be something modern and pretty normal and safe, but because in New Zealand left-hand drive cars are illegal past a certain year, we ended up with a vintage car. So I loved what opportunities it brought us.
Amazing, amazing. I feel like this movie also has something to say about being a single parent, right? You
Yeah.
talked about the father-daughter, but this is also a movie you don't really see that too much in a lot of movies. What do you think it has to say about single parent families?
Well, I think every single parent family is completely different, but I could speak to specifically this one in that it feels that there's a lot of unspoken tension between them. They haven't been able to communicate well for much of Wally's life, and a lot of this movie is about them learning to be honest with each other and communicate with each other. And I think that's something we can relate to whether we're in a single parent family or not.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. This is also kind of a road trip movie. What's
Yeah.
the one song you got to put on your road trip playlist for you? What's that song, Hannah, for you?
Oh gosh, I would say "Can I Kick It" by Tribe Called Quest.
I know that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's calm yet fun.
Amazing. All right. Well, the movie is Don't Make Me Go. It's on Prime Video. Make sure you guys check it out. The movie is Don't Make Me Go. It's coming to Prime Video. And guys, if you want a movie that's going to get you right in the feels, this is the one for you. Hey, John. Hey, Mia. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having us.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Hannah, the director, and that is what's the cry count? How many times are you going to cry in this movie? What do you think?
More than once.
More than once for sure. I cried opening credits.
Before you hit play, you're crying. But we should mention it's also very funny as well. It's a really well-made movie. And that credit goes to you too. I want to talk about your chemistry because I believed every minute of it. It felt like very lived in. John, me, I don't know who wants to start, but how did that work? How did the chemistry work out so well?
I think it was just that John felt like my father in a lot of ways. For me, it was my first movie, and I was looking for a lot of guidance. And John was very experienced, not only as an actor but just in life. And I think I looked to him for a little bit of guidance. And he felt like my dad while we were filming, and it was something that we kind of naturally fell into, at least for me.
Yeah, I would echo that. It was she also felt like my daughter. We were two Americans also that were out of the country, and so we definitely had that bond going. There's the summer camp feel when you're away from home shooting a film, and then of course the road trip element was like shooting a film in a lot of ways. That compressed, intense time together. And all of these relationships, all the details were very close to me, felt very available. The feelings felt very available. So it was, that relationship was kind of a cinch to build. It was being authentic and making sure that we stayed true the whole time. That was the hard part, but it was all right there.
Well, it worked. And John, by the way, you make me feel so old now that you're playing fathers. I grew up with you on like American Pie and Harold and Kumar in my teenage years. But you're great. You're great at it. You mentioned the road trip element, which I love me some road trip movies, and there's all kinds. You can get all different genres of movies. Do you have any favorite road trip movies?
I love Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So good.
I think a thing about Little Miss Sunshine that's similar to Don't Make Me Go is the iconic car, because Don't Make Me Go has a very iconic car, and so does Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, there's Blues Brothers. There's Midnight Run. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
I think so. I put that on my list. Okay, last question. We also asked Hannah this. For people that are going to go on road trips, summertime's to do it. What's that one song on your playlist? You got to put it on.
One song. You go first.
Walk This Way, Run DMC.
Yes, that'll get you cruising.
I'm gonna say Three Little Birds, Bob Marley.
Oh, I love it. You guys nailed it. Well, I'll tell you what, you also nailed Don't Make Me Go. Fantastic movie, like I said. Get ready to laugh, cry, and everything in between. It's on Amazon Prime Video. Thank you guys so much. So fun. All right, now it's time for my chat with Jami Alix about the Netflix series Boo Bitch and so much more. Check it out. My guest today is a content creator. She's an influencer and an actress who can be seen in the new Netflix series Boo Bitch. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about it with Jami Alix. Hey Jami, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I got the name of the show right.
You
Right?
did. You did.
Okay.
It's like frequently confused with boo bitch or boo bitch. You know, it's like interchangeable, but no, it is boo bitch. You got it right.
I will find out if we have to bleep it, but we'll just continue saying bitch.
Every time I post a caption on Instagram, it says, "Are you sure you want to post this? It looks similar to others that have been reported." And I'm like, this is the name of the show.
That's it. It's the name of the show, guys. I love it. This interview just could be bleep, 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 which would be fun too.
Go for it.
Let's talk about that show because listen, I saw the adverts, I saw the trailer for it, I should say, and it had me cracking up quite a bit.
Good.
It looks like something really, really fun. We'll explain to people who haven't seen it what they can expect out of it, and then at the end, tell us who you are.
Yeah, it's a really fun, campy, kind of raunchy comedy. It's kind of about two best friends living up their last moments of senior year. And then Lana's character at the end of the first episode, which they tell you, she finds out that she is a ghost. So I'm not spoiling anything. But it is a really, really fun comedy. My character's name is Leah, and she sort of plays like the suck up sidekick to the popular girl in school. And so every decision she makes is very life or death. She's very type A, she's very manic. And she has a couple one-liners in there that just get me every time. So it was really fun to play her. I think she's a character that pretty much will do anything and sacrifice a lot to be popular in school, which, I relate to the desperation a little bit to be cool.
Wait a minute. I was going to ask how much of that character was you or is you?
It is such a extended, it's like a hyperbolic version of like every girl's insecurities in high school or middle school, where I think maybe not every girl, but at least for me, I was like, when I first went into middle school and high school, I was like, oh man, I want to be popular and cool. And I think Leah just takes it a little too far, but tapping into that desire totally got her. Totally understood that insecurity.
Absolutely.
Fortunately, I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, oh, I don't need that anymore. But I mean, honestly, even on social media, like, I feel like I can tap into that. I mean, I'm posting on social media, been doing the blogging thing. So wanting to be seen, I feel like is sort of universal in that aspect. And I relate to that.
Not going to lie. I campaigned super hard to be prom king in my high school and I won, by the way. So
Congratulations.
thank
My
you.
best friend won prom king, and he was like, yeah, no, that is such an amazing accomplishment.
Yes.
Wow.
I'll put that on my resumes. Prom king.
I know. I could
Um,
never. Oh my gosh.
Jamie, talk to us about what went on behind the scenes, behind the cameras, because it looked like a big cast. I mean, obviously, a lot of young people, a lot of fun stuff happening on camera with the show.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to know the behind the scenes stuff. What did you guys hang out, or what was this
Oh my
set
gosh.
life like?
There was not one bad egg. Like literally, I love that cast so much with all my heart. And like every time that we're all like in town, because some people don't live in LA, but every time that we're in town, we will try and like make an effort to get together. We just had like a huge cast dinner because some people came into town. And also everybody was in town for the premiere recently. And so we've been just like hanging out a little more, but behind the scenes, like so many of these young actors are so talented. They've become some of my best friends. And also it was just like constantly doing bits on set with each other. Like I just felt very creatively fulfilled both on and off set. Because they were just like sharpening my comedic timing, just like being around them. I feel like I was laughing in between takes all the time. It was just like, I really have no complaints. It was a great experience.
Amazing. By the way, little side question here for you.
Yeah.
Do people say you look like a celebrity? I have someone in mind, but do you get that from some people that say you look like somebody else?
I do.
Who did they say?
I'm like, do you want to say it?
You say, and I'll tell you if I have someone different.
Okay. Well, I get a couple actually.
Okay.
I get a couple. There's the obvious one. There is the obvious one, which is Ariana Grande.
Yeah, there you go. Ariana Grande. Yeah. That's the one I right away.
Always a compliment because I'm like, she's gorgeous and so cool. So I'm like, thank you so much. I've also gotten Jessica Alba and Rose Byrne.
Ooh, I see that. Yeah. There you
go. Those are in there too. And I'm like, I will take all of them. I love all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in good company.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I do see Ariana Grande. I'm surprised. Do people has anyone ever mistaken you for her, like on the streets or?
You know what? I think it's more so of like, I see the resemblance. Like it's not exact, but I definitely feel like, if I do the hair half up or the ponytail or some of her her hairstyles, I think because some of our facial features have like some similarities, people will be like, oh, I see it more there. But I've gotten that comparison even without makeup. So like, I don't know. It dates back to when she was on Victorious. People would be like, you look like that girl from Victorious. So that has been just like a thing that's followed me. But I think there were a couple times, there was one time where somebody thought I was her from behind at a concert, wow. I guess. And when I turned around, I felt so bad for this girl because I was like, oh my God, I am the biggest disappointment right now. Like she thought she was meeting her idol, and you could just see just like the disappointment wash over her face where she was like, I am so sorry. And I was like, no, I am so sorry. So
you should just go with it. Just pretend you're her that'd be fun. You talked a little bit about, the clothing and stuff you do with your hair and the makeup and all that stuff. Well, that's stuff we can find on your blogs, right? This is the content you put out there. Tell us a little bit about that and how that started.
I started blogging or creating my own content when I probably like 6 years ago. When Instagram was sort of getting more popular, I was seeing all of these random creators producing and styling and directing their own content. And I think I will own this. I love being in front of the camera. And so maybe that's a little obvious with the profession that I've chosen. But I loved I think just starting with blogging felt like a safer option. I had always been interested in acting. And I think just starting with taking photos of myself was an easier sort of segue into getting more vulnerable behind the camera.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there because people are always looking for tips to look their best in photos.
Okay.
Right? And you see these people like you that put these fantastic looking photos. And you're like, oh my God. Now don't ruin your secrets because obviously that's kind of your livelihood. Okay, well, give us a tip. Give me a tip. If I'm going to take a picture of myself and put it on the gram and I wanted to make it the best it can be, what should I do?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Lighting. First of all, lighting is everything. Yeah. If you are taking photos in direct sunlight with legitimately, the sun is right above you. You're gonna hate how you look. The sun is gonna maximize all of your pores and all of your zits. Just don't do it. It is a recipe for disaster. Trust me. The best thing that you can do is shoot in open shade. So like if you have a, like, for example, my apartment, there's a balcony, and whenever I like open the door and there's like all of it like into my apartment, that's like a closed set, but there's light coming in through the window. So if you step into that light with like the dark background behind you, all of a sudden your face goes and it just blurs and it's beautiful and it's just the best. So natural light is my tip, or at sunrise or sunset. So
yeah.
those are like the times. Makeup wise, just powder your face, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're onto something about lighting, because I always have a hard time finding the right light. I did realize once, though, I don't know how I realized this, but the light in my fridge is really great.
Really?
For some, yeah, I don't know what it is. So I'll open the fridge and I'll like take a photo in there if I want to show. Yeah.
Oh
Weird.
my gosh. Wait, I think I need to try that. I've never ever thought of that. I love that. How
The
creative.
fridge light, for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something.
Oh no. I'm like, that could be a viral TikTok. Like this light, for example,
You
is
can
like
have it.
not the best, but like the background is better than whatever else I have, because I don't think you want to see my messy apartment. So
Amazing. So you talked about how you wanted to continue on with the acting, and that seems to be something that's interesting you. So yeah, talk to me about that, your future aspirations. What kind of things do you want to do? And fingers crossed, by the way, Boo Bitch gets a second season, but what else would you like to tackle?
it's a limited series. So right now we are set at just one season. So
Never say no in Hollywood. Listen, if this
Right?
is popular, they'll bring it back.
who knows? I mean, here's the thing. I would love to work with that cast and crew again, just because the people were so wonderful. But I definitely, I mean, I think it's interesting because a lot of times, like sometimes with acting, a strong social media presence comes with it, depending on like how you sort of want to take it. And I could see myself always having like a strong social media presence, just because like that is where I'm coming from. And I feel like I've learned a lot along the way. I do have a love-hate relationship with social media, though. That's for damn sure.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Right. I'm like, I just don't feel like that would be authentic for me to be like, I love social media and I want to do it forever. No. I think that I felt a little bit of a void in social for a while. And when I had done theater as a kid, I wanted to be a singer when I was a kid. And so joining my first acting class out here, the feeling that I describe is like, it just felt like I was a kid again. There was a sense of home there. And it wasn't about looking pretty on Instagram. It was about actually kind of like, it was kind of like highlighting all of the like unsexy parts of myself and getting really weird and vulnerable. And it was at a time in my life where I was ready to go there. And so that's just something that I want to keep doing, because I know that whenever I feel like a kid again, I'm doing something right. And I think right now I obviously adore comedy. I could see myself doing comedy for the rest of my life. I also have a deep desire to do like a Western period piece.
Ooh.
I know, it's really random. Or like a really, really intense, complex character in a thought-provoking indie film. I want to do it all. My personality.
You should do a comedy Western indie.
Yes.
Combine them all.
Yeah. Whoever is writing that, I'm available. She's here, straight here. But for the next thing, I just finished shooting a role on the On My Block spinoff, playing a very different character than Leah. So look at that. Yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
hey, listen, Jami, it's been fantastic chatting with you, and I would love to catch up later on, see what you're up to then. But in the meantime, we want to steer people towards Netflix. The show is called Boo Bitch. It's coming your way. Thanks again for joining me today.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition, everybody. Big thanks going out to my man, Cassius Morris, for helping me break everything down this week. And hey, everyone involved with Prime Videos, don't make me go. Make sure you check out that movie. It's really great. And Jami Alix, thanks so much for chatting with me. And hey, thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood. popping that culture.